Hello and welcome to the week ahead video with me, David Madden. Now before we take a look at the major events of next week, let's take a moment to quickly recap the major events of the week just gone. Now it is worth noting I'm recording this video on Thursday the 11th of August. And the big news of the week was yesterday's US CPI numbers. CPI in the US fell by a much larger amount than expected, and with that some traders took the view that the Federal Reserve might look to be less hawkish in relation to future interest rate hikes, and as a result we saw a broad decline in the US dollar, and in turn we also saw a sharp move to the upside in stocks, in particular US stocks. And why is this relevant for the week ahead? Well, next on Wednesday we have UK CPI numbers. CPI in the UK is currently at 9.4%, its highest level in 40 years, and CPI has been the main driver of why central banks such as the Bank of England and the Federal Reserve and the likes have been hiking interest rates at such an aggressive pace. So Wednesday's UK CPI reading could inject a large amount of volatility into the markets. Looking at the reaction yesterday from the US CPI numbers, we saw a sharp move to the upside in GBPUSD because of the broad sell-off in the US dollar, because as I mentioned, the US CPI reading came in below expectations. Looking at the price action here, we can see the currency pair hit its highest level since early August. Looking at the MACD indicator, we can see that momentum is in positive territory, suggesting the bulls are in control. While GBPUSD remains above these three simple moving averages, it's likely the medium-term upward trend will continue. A further rally from here could see a target 1.2331, and a break beyond that could see a target 1.2405. Looking at the RSI, we can see it's moving higher. If it continues to move higher from here, it might move into overbought territory. Should that be the case, that could be an early warning sign that the recent upward move in price has become overstretched. If you do see any move to the downside in the currency pair, support might be found from this simple moving average here, which comes into play at 1.2100, and a break below that could see a target 1.2046. Also next week, also on Wednesday, we have US retail sales, and we also have the minutes from last month's Federal Reserve meeting where the bank hiked interest rates by 0.75%. Now the retail sales report will be in focus because there's been a lot of talk in the US about the cost of living crisis. Inflation is growing at a faster rate than wages are, so that there's a lot of fear that consumers are feeling the pinch. And the retail sales report will give us an update of how willing people and consumers how willing are they to go out and actually spend money. So we could see an injection of volatility into US dollar crosses, and also the US500, depending on how the retail sales report comes in. Also, the Fed minutes will be interesting too, because they'll probably shine a bit more light on the rationale behind the Federal Reserve, why they hiked interest rates by 75 basis points. At the most recent meeting, they suggested they might look to scale back the size of future rate hikes, so we might get a bit more detail looking at that. As I mentioned a minute ago, the weaker than expected US CPI numbers yesterday led to a broad rally in stock markets. In fact, the US500 this morning has gone on to hit a new 3-month high, which really underlines how bullish the recent upward move has been. The MACD indicator shows us that momentum is in positive territory, suggesting the bulls are in control. While we continue to hold above these three simple moving averages, it's likely the recent upward trend will continue. A further rally from here could see a target 42.80, and a break beyond that could see a target 43.00. Looking at the RSI, we can see it's moved higher. In fact, it's pretty much moved right up to the overbought territory, which could be an early warning sign that the recent upward move in price has become overstretched. If you do see a move to the downside in the US500, support could be found at 41.12, and a break below that could see a target 40.78. So just to recap, on Wednesday we have UK CPI, also on Wednesday we have US retail sales and the minutes from last month's Fed meeting. Thank you very much.